This sucks. I thought we were getting Beverly Hills Cop 3. What the fuck was this shit?
Oh my god, I know. This is a bad choice, Brad. Every movie that we've done together I've liked.
Me too. What are the odds? These movies are all really good.
That's the nice thing about doing these classic re-releases with you, is that I've already seen them and I already like them.
Wouldn't that suck though if we came across one that just so did not age well for us?
Yeah, I know it.
Oh, well.
Why did we like that? I don't know what that would be. I'm sure there's a movie out there, but
I'm sure,
I don't
yeah.
know off the top of my head what it is.
Well, Masters of the Universe sure didn't age well for me. So yeah, okay, we're out of Beverly Hills Cop, and which was great. I've had a long week. I was in Chicago for a couple of days, and today we shot the State Fair video, which is probably why I look like death.
Yeah, and I was at the State Fair all day, so same here.
It was fucking hot out, man. It was so fucking hot out
I'm
there.
not complaining about the heat.
Shit, I am, man. But like, so I'm just gonna roll the windows down a little bit. Speaking of heat, so, or maybe not. There seems to be some bugs out there. Okay, so anyway, we shot the State Fair video today, and I'll probably get that posted up like. Maybe this week, probably this weekend sometime after I post the midnight screenings for the week. So we all left the State Fair just with horrifying stomach aches, like way worse than like previous years. So let's go to the movie theater where I can have popcorn. I just had a little like a handful, but I'm like, oh sweet, Beverly Hills Cop. I can kick back, relax. I'm already sort of dressed like Axel Foley. I drive a much nicer car.
Way nicer. I wonder what happened to that. That crappy blue Chevy Nova.
The same crappy blue Chevy Nova. I love Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Of the movies that came out, okay, so the past like month we did Big Lebowski, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I was honestly most looking forward to Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, I was definitely looking forward to the other ones too, but I was really looking... I love this goddamn movie. I watch this movie so... My dad and I... Oh, sorry, I said my. That's confusing. Anyway. This is just the kind of movies that my dad and I used to watch all the time. And the first time I saw it, it was probably Vicky's tape, my Aunt Vicky. It was probably her tape because she bought Beverly Hills Cop when it first came out. She's probably still got her original
I bet
VHS
she does. She probably has all those VHS tapes she bought.
Oh yeah. So anyway, but this was my first time seeing this in the theater. I didn't see this in the theater when it first came out, but I saw Beverly Hills Cop 3 in the fucking theater when it came out. God damn it.
Did you see 2 in the theater?
No, I didn't see 2 in the theater. I saw 2 probably not long after I saw the first one, because when I saw the first one, 2 had already been out. I love this movie. I love the second one. I also love the second one. The second one is a fucking awesome Tony Scott movie. I love Beverly Hills Cop 2. And then the third one came out.
I don't know if I saw it. Did I see the third one?
Please don't.
Okay.
It's, if you want to watch Film Brain's review on it, it's Beverly Hills Cop 3 sucks. And I saw it in the theater with Dad, and we were both looking forward to it because it's Beverly Hills Cop 3.
First 2 were good.
94, I think that came out, and the few Eddie movies that came out before Beverly Hills Cop 3 in the couple years before then weren't that good. So it was like, okay, Beverly Hills Cop 3, and sweet, they got John Landis to make it. That's cool. Man, we saw Beverly Hills Cop 3 in the theater, and here's the thing about Eddie. I love Eddie Murphy, especially this 80s Eddie Murphy, R-rated Eddie Murphy. Eddie, some actors can get away with sleepwalking through something. Some actors just can. They can sleepwalk through a movie, but There's just something about them to where they still make it work. Sean Connery is like that. Sean Connery can sleepwalk through a movie and it still works. It can still work because he's Sean Connery. As much as I love Eddie Murphy is not that kind of actor. When Eddie Murphy sleepwalks through something,
You can tell.
Oh God! And that's what he did in Beverly Hills Cop 3. And the funny thing about Beverly Hills Cop is the history of the movie too. How it was originally going to be a Stallone movie.
I don't know if I knew that.
It was,
You told me that. I forgot. And it's just, that's not ringing any bells.
It was originally written as a Sylvester Stallone movie, and Sylvester Stallone made a lot of changes to the script, which he usually does, but one of the changes was, I believe, the last name of Axel Foley became Axel Cobretti. So
That's kind of Cobra-ish.
What he made into, what he turned into Beverly Hills Cop, because I don't know if he eventually just wanted too much money or what, but eventually it just didn't work out. He's not in Beverly Hills Cop, so the ideas that he put in his Beverly Hills Cop, he made Cobra. And based it, and kind of took some ideas off of a book that was, I forget what the book was, but the book was later adapted as well into that Billy Baldwin, Cindy Crawford movie Fair Game, where the villain in that movie was Victor Maitland, was Stephen Burkoff. Wow. And he was also the bad guy in Rambo 2. And
that's the one I remember him in.
Rambo 2, he was the Russian. Yeah. And so Eddie Murphy improvised a lot of stuff in this movie and really kind of made it its own. And by the time they did 3, I think John Landis was under the impression of like, well, they said that the script for Beverly Hills Cop wasn't very good, but then Eddie really made its own thing, and it ended up becoming a classic, and it becoming a classic action movie of the 80s, and they kind of thought he'd do the same for the third one, but Eddie just sleepwalked through it and was just like, well, Axel Foley's older now, so he's not going to do anything fun and entertaining.
I can't believe I haven't seen it. I almost think that I should at least try to watch it.
It's the one that takes place in the theme park.
Oh, God. I did see it. I just forgot. Maybe the reason's obvious why I forgot. But yes, my God, I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where they turn him into a mascot at the end. Axel Fox. We're talking more about the third one than the first one. God, okay. That's, I don't know, you know what, that's the thing enough. Though with doing these videos. When you get started on something you don't like, you start talking way more about that than this. Than something that's good. It's a great movie. When did you first see this movie?
Oh, at the theater, I'm certain. I'm certain. I think this has got to be my favorite Eddie movie.
Yeah, it's mine.
Yeah, I mean, Trading Places was
48 hours.
Good. 48 Hours was good, but this is just beginning to end, all the way through it, good. And he's so funny, especially like when he kind of busts out another character. Not another character, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know
when
what
he goes to the
Tell
Harold.
him he has herpes simplex 10.
Tell him, Ramon Kim, I went to the clinic today.
I'm Inspector Rafferty from the...
And yeah, exactly. He's about 3 or 4 different people.
Yeah.
You know, and he does it so quick and so easy, and I don't know. And like all these classic movies that you and I get to see, as I said, the thing that's fun about them is 2 things. 1, we've seen them. 2, we like them. So it makes what you and I do easy as opposed to some of the other stuff that you have to do. But what's really fun about these movies is the little things and the people who some of them went on to be big stars that we get to look back in time and see.
Paul Reiser and Damon Wayans.
Damon Wayans, but he was credited as a Banana Man.
That's what's funny. We're seeing the 2 movies tonight, both with cop in the title. One with Damon Wayans in it is the Banana Man. Theirs starring Damon Wayans Jr. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's kind of an irony thing. But then I remember I showed you that quick 2 scenes, real quick, where you see the DeLorean sitting there.
Oh yeah, yeah. You see the DeLorean parked there.
And then because it was the next year, right? That
85.
Yeah, 85. That Back to the Future came out.
1984.
It's fun for me too because I've been to Beverly Hills. I don't know how many times. So, you know, seeing all the stores, all the shops, and all that kind of stuff.
Does it still look exactly like this?
Exactly
leather outfits walking around?
Not so much with the leather outfits, but I will tell you this. It just seems like, this has just been my experience, maybe not everybody's that's been there, but mine is that everybody looks nice. Everybody's dressed up.
Except for the cop from Detroit.
Yeah, exactly. Except for the one cop from Detroit.
I love Eddie laughing at the two guys who were dressed like Eddie in stand-up.
Exactly. That was hilarious to just walk past him or whatever.
Yeah.
The interesting thing I noticed about this movie tonight is that it doesn't seem as dated as some of the movies that you and I've seen. For example, with a few exceptions of the two guys walking in leatherette, Rodeo Drive, or whatever it was, you know, some of the fashions don't look that far off. Like Rosewood and Taggart suits, the hairstyles, everything. This movie's 30 years old, and they could walk any place looking exactly the same and fit right in.
Yeah, and how Eddie looks in the movie too. I mean, the thing that is, and dated isn't, to me, is not a bad word. It's okay, maybe you can have bad examples of that, but there are bad examples of anything. Like, the word comedy is not a bad word, but there's bad examples of comedy.
Sure.
I mean, just because you can tell when something was made doesn't
make it bad.
Doesn't mean it's bad. If anything, it could even make it sort of better. Like this movie, you just don't get that many action movies like this anymore. Really raw, R-rated action movies that, yeah, they're R-rated, they're geared towards adults, but yeah, teenagers still like it too. I watched it when I was a kid. I watched all of these movies when I was a kid. You know, then, okay, so kids are gonna see this movie. What the fuck ever. This is an action movie. This is a world where people say fuck. This is a world where people get shot. This is a world where adult things happen because it's an adult story. It's an adult situation. And you don't get that a lot nowadays because they want to go for the PG-13. They want to get more people, even though people are blowing up left and right in these fucking movies, but oops, sorry, you can't say fuck. You can't show strippers stripping. You can't show people getting, you can't show, you know.
And PG-13s.
Well, I mean, granted, you know, with that being said, I mean, there are PG-13 movies that do get away with quite a bit, but, you know, this movie was made back in a time where you could see Jerry Bruckheimer's name on a movie, and it would mean that you would at least get maybe kind of a badass product. Because it also had Don Simpson's name on there, when Don Simpson was still alive. Crazy-ass Don Simpson. You know, this was when you look at different action beats in this movie. Like, okay, the movie opens with a car chase. You see that a lot nowadays, you know. Producers, backers, they want certain action beats to be in movies. This movie opens with a car chase. And there's a reason this car chase is happening. This car chase at the beginning of the movie that is very much a spectacle, but it actually has consequences to it. It actually shows that this is why Axel Foley is not, he's a decent enough cop, but he's not in good standing with his boss because of stuff like that. There's an actual real response to what this car accident caused.
He's kind of rogue.
And it's same with the two guys trying to rob the strip club. You could see something like that in a movie now, where suddenly in the movie, like, for some reason there's a hostage situation or something like that. You would see that back then too. In Dirty Harry movies, there would always be something like that happening. But in this movie, that moment right there actually helps Axel Foley bond with Taggart and Rosewood.
Absolutely. And they start to trust him.
Yeah.
Because up until then, he's just a thug who got thrown out of a window.
They threw him out a fucking window.
Threw him out a window, and he got arrested for disturbing the peace because he got thrown out of a window. But I mean, that's Beverly Hills, whatever.
Well, that happens all the time.
No. Well, I'll let that go. No, so they were able to bond with him and able to trust, because all he was this just cop from Detroit. You know, just kind of a cocky, not self-absorbed, but you know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean. Like, and that's what's great about Eddie Murphy's performance in there, is that you can still laugh at this guy who it's his yell. I mean, it's just his yell. Eddie can make you laugh just by shouting at someone. And without it feeling like he's just being a really verbally abusive prick, you know, because the wrong actor in that role, it could kind of get a little awkward watching that.
It wouldn't come across the same.
Yeah, Eddie, maybe it's because you can tell it's an act when you're watching it, that he's a cop, but he's also kind of a con man too. And he's street smart. That is part of his character. He's a very quick on his feet, fucking street smart guy. And watching this movie again on the big screen, there's so many things that you pick up about it, just little things about it too. For instance, just in simple montages, really set up this entire world that this movie is taking place in. Whether you're talking about the opening scene that's playing Glenn Fry, The Heat Is On, that's showing Detroit and all these iconic sceneries of Detroit, it's really setting up that world. It's showing you the world that Axel Foley is used to, and then when he goes to Beverly Hills Cop, there is another montage that's showing you this other completely different world that he is stepping foot into. So just by these quick instances of all these flashes, you get where he's coming from, where he's going, and what is different about these places.
And how different he is from that. I mean, talk about stick out like a sore thumb. My God, comes in with, you know, dressed like he's dressed, and seriously, I've taken you to Beverly Hills before. You know, I would never go that dressed down there because for some reason you just feel so out of place. But and then him and his, you know, his car.
No, you're 100% right, because I've done that in Beverly Hills. Walked around dressed like me, and you are right. You do feel totally out of.
You do. You absolutely do. They're not as uptight and snotty as like in Pretty Woman. You know, that kind of thing. But, but you're like, oh my God.
I found the people in Beverly Hills perfectly friendly. Yeah. Like, I'm walking around looking like me, but no one was snide. No one was like, no one was, no one there's ever been or anything like that. And it also just, this movie is so great with characters too, and a lot of great 80s action movies are as well, whether you're talking about this or whether you're talking about, like, you know, minor characters in something like Batman or something like that. Just, it doesn't matter how long a character is on screen in this movie, you totally get everything about every single character, but whether it's Paul Reiser's character, whether it's Foley's boss, or even like James Russo as his friend, whose friend who comes in with the Barabots. It may be like it's like 5 minutes of screen time that these two guys have together, and in just their interaction with one another, the stories that they tell about their past, you get every single thing about these two guys' friendship in just 5 minutes of writing. In 5 minutes of banter, it tells you, like, how these guys are friends. Yeah, one of them's a cop, one of them's kind of a, you know, a con man. But you buy these guys being friends. It feels like you know everything about these guys' friendship just from this few...
Just a few scenes.
Yeah.
And their relationship with Jenny.
Yeah.
You know, how she was like their friend, you know, because that was obviously, you know, the first connection that Axel made when he went to Beverly Hills was to find their friend and, you know, let them know that their other friend had been killed. But everything in the movie you do buy. You buy that he could pull this stuff off, and you buy the attitude of the Beverly Hills police, you know, and the innocence of Billy, you know, as a cop. Yeah. I mean, he's just such a rookie, you know, just...
The shrimp salad sandwich.
That's the first time I shouldn't say this, I'm embarrassed to say this. It's the first time I think I'd probably ever heard of a shrimp salad sandwich.
Was Beverly Hills Cop?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've had
I
a
was
shrimp
probably
salad
20
sandwich.
When that came out, and I was 25. And I was from here. I hadn't really ventured out too much outside of here. And anyway, but yeah, and I could, you buy the price of the hotel, $275 a night. Oh, heck yeah. And wow, 30 years ago? What would that be now in today's money? $400?
$1,000 a night.
$1,000 a night. And $95 for the robe.
Jesus, yeah. I've already got 3 of them in my bag. I've done that before.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Never taken a robe.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want a robe.
Well, and maybe they'll just tack it on your bill.
Crap.
But anyway.
That's why that bill was so high. I was wondering what that was about. I didn't think they'd notice.
Where does this rank for you in Eddie's movies?
I would say this is my favorite.
This is your favorite
movie. This, 48 Hours. Cool. Best Defense. You don't remember Best Defense? The Best Defense was a Dudley Moore movie. I want to say like 85, and they shot this movie with Dudley Moore, and they looked at it and were like, "Wow, this sucks. What can we do to it?" let's film some extra scenes with Eddie Murphy and just insert into the movie. That's what they did. They just
Really?
random Eddie Murphy inserts into the movie.
That sounds like what Bowfinger was.
Kinda.
Kinda. It was not what it was, but it was. You get what I'm saying.
I mean, it was like he was Godfrey Hoed into the movie.
Right,
He
yeah.
was totally Godfrey Hoed into this film. That Best Defense is bad, but like other Eddie Murphy movies I like. You know what? I'm actually, a lot of people so do not like this fucking movie, but I am actually a really big fan of Metro. Metro is a way better Beverly Hills Cop 3 than Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Beverly Hills Cop 3?
Fucking Clerks the animated series is a better Beverly Hills Cop 3.
You could do your own little Brad series on your site for what's a better movie than Beverly Hills Cop 3, and then just come up with a list. But I suspect you could do that with a lot of movies. But Bowfinger would be another one, favorite of mine.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie.
Not so much the Flubber remakes.
Nutty Professor?
Yeah.
I liked the first one all right. I honestly haven't seen it since it first came. I've honestly never seen the second one.
Oh my god.
I've never seen the second one. I honestly kind of like the first one all right.
Sorry, Eddie, if you're watching. Not a huge fan of.
I miss
of
this
the
Eddie
second.
Murphy though. He does
This
like
was the best one.
he does like kids movies and shit now.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Tower Heist was kind of a little more not quite as kids movie-ish, but the raw R-rated fucking Eddie Murphy, you know? Fuck, god damn it, I miss that shit. He got this kick where he just started doing kids movies, and Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, you think don't know what his motivation is. I suspect
He's got
doing
kids.
them just to do them. He's got kids.
Golden Child. I loved the Golden Child.
I don't know if I remember that.
Remember that? With, he was fighting the devil and shit. He was fighting Charles Dance, because there was the, little, like, kind of, Avatar, the Last Airbender kid, and he was the Golden Child.
No, maybe I should take a day when I just catch up on Eddie stuff.
That's an 80s Eddie Murphy movie. I want to say 87, 86, 87, I don't know, somewhere around there. I love the Golden Child. Did you like Beverly Hills Cop 2?
I did. I like Beverly Hills Cop too, especially when he goes into the gun range where.
Damn, that's a big bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
She was so good in that movie.
Yeah, she was good.
She was a great villain in that fucking movie. Yeah, and what was I gonna say? But also the it's great here in that Axel's theme. The
Neutron
soundtrack.
Dance,
the Neutron
the Pointer
Dance.
Sister stuff. And,
Yeah.
And once again, when we go to these movies, you think about who's still with us and who's gone.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Obviously one of the Pointer Sisters is gone. But yeah, the soundtrack's awesome. I'd like to put that soundtrack on right now and enjoy every bit of it.
It was nice to go see this too, because not to be like any kind of buzzkill or anything like that, or to even dwell on this, because I already mentioned on the site and stuff like that. It's nice. It's been a bad week for comedy.
Yeah,
it's been a shitty week for comedy. It really has.
Yeah. It'd be. I don't know that you could have a worse week for comedy than this week.
It's been a bad one,
It has.
and I don't want to you've seen that all over the news, you've seen that all over online and stuff like that, and I don't want to. I don't want to bring anything down or anything like that. I put An Evening with Robin Williams on the website the other day. It's a great thing to watch and laugh and be reminded of all that. And even going to this movie, which this movie doesn't have anything to do with Robin Williams, but it is a classic comedy. It's an action film, but it's also a classic comedy. Yeah. And it's nice to go to see this and laugh and be reminded that comedy is one of the most important things in life. Whether you're wanting to get your mind off of things, whether you just want to be reminded of what's been making you laugh for 30 years. Yeah, this movie's 30 years old, which is so fucking hard to believe. This movie is 30 years old. But I would like to talk about this movie also has one of my favorite fucking villains. Stephen Burkhoff
Victor Maitland?
as Victor Maitland.
He's just bad.
Victor Maitland.
And he sounds so Anthony Hopkins-esque.
Yeah, he does.
He really does.
He does. Burkhoff, I love Stephen Burkhoff.
He's a good bad guy.
Yes. Stephen Burkhoff always plays a Bond villain. Actually, you know what? He is actually smarter than a Bond villain. I mean, yeah, he gets himself killed at the end of it, but Stephen Burkoff, Victor Maitland in this movie, he just wants you dead. He is not this kind of bad guy who's going to stand there to Axel Foley and explain his entire plan to him. He doesn't.
He doesn't. He just goes ahead.
Yeah, he just goes in there and he just wants him dead. He just is going to have Jonathan Banks, his associate, just shoot him cold and just leave. That's it.
He just throws a look, and his guy knows exactly what that look means.
Mr. Foley, I must say I'm very disappointed in you.
And he said that to Jennifer or Jeanette.
Jeanette. Yeah.
Jeanette.
Jeanette.
I can't tell you how much this disappoints
His
me.
eyes, man. He is chilling.
Yeah. He's got eyes like ours. He does. And I say that in all humility.
Played many villains.
But he's got, like, maybe he's some sort of relative.
Stephen Burkoff?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Of course, that's kind of
I mean, that's why
German.
I like playing bad guys so much. In between this, yeah, Rambo 2, fair game.
Right.
He's one of the few times I didn't see him play a bad guy was he was a cop in one scene in A Clockwork Orange.
God, I don't even remember that.
There was the scene where Alex when he gets arrested for killing the girl. Stephen Burkoff is like one of the cops who's in the room.
I'd like to YouTube that, just that one scene, because I've never seen him in anything when he's a good guy.
Not that he's just a cop just in one scene in this.
And same with his man. What's his guy's name?
Jonathan Banks.
He's always a bad guy.
He's
another one that's a good bad guy.
He pops up. The thing about Jonathan Banks is, like, I've seen him play a good guy before, but he has that great bad guy because he's in 48 Hours. He's Nolte's partner at the beginning of 48 Hours, and Breaking Bad. He is amazing on Breaking Bad.
Oh, he's a good actor.
He's Breaking Bad's a great show anyway, but I would recommend even starting watching that show just because of him. He's kind of this, like, older, kind of gets shit done, sort of hitman kind of character, and he is amazing in it.
I think most recently what I've seen him in is he played Ed O'Neill's brother. I'm a huge Modern Family fan. I mean, not to get off on anything else, but I think it's one of the most genius sitcoms ever. He plays Ed O'Neill's brother.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah. He doesn't show up often. Matter of fact, he might have only been in one episode, but it's a pretty serious episode. He has cancer and all this kind of thing.
He's a great, underrated actor. He's actually gotten quite a bit of praise since Breaking Bad.
He's one of those that's just steady,
Well, cuz. Are you still mad at me? Oh, no. I should have killed you in Detroit. I popped your friend. That part where he throws him on the buffet table, and he just looks so shocked that this happened. What the fuck?
And he's got, like, whipped cream from the strawberry whipped cream dessert area.
Wrecked the buffet at the Club. When I immediately, Axel Foley knows that these two guys did it. When you walk into an office, one of them's Stephen Burkoff, who says, "Hello, how did you get in here?" And the other one's Jonathan Banks. Well, there's your villains right there. You don't need to look any further. And Victor Maitland in this movie is, honestly, like, when you break it down, is probably only in maybe 10 or 15 minutes worth of screen time.
I was thinking about that when we were watching it. He's not really in it that much.
But when he's there, he's chilling. He can be in, like, really all told 15 minutes of screen time and comes away with it. It's just the stare in his voice. He's a fucking sociopath. But you can also buy that he is also this art dealer.
Yeah, you can. You can absolutely buy it. Just the way he carries himself. He's got a presence. He's very commanding. He just, but he just takes over a scene when the guy's in it.
Yeah.
And actually the chief is pretty good.
The chief is
good.
He's in
2 scenes, right?
Yeah, he's in 2 scenes.
He's in 2 scenes, yeah. And he's...
You have a report? I can't wait to hear it.
That'll be on my desk first thing in the morning.
Why is it this man in handcuffs?
Well,
Rosewood. Rosemont. It's Rosewood, sir.
At the end, he actually did say get his name right, but...
Ronnie Cox.
Oh,
I love Ronnie
Ronnie's
Cox.
awesome.
Yeah.
He's another good, steady, solid actor.
Yeah, he popped up on the last season of Dexter. shitty season. That was actually a pretty good episode.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bad season. Yeah. Sorry, Dexter fans and all my
Most
buddies
Dexter
and
fans
God,
will agree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a whole Facebook page dedicated to how horrible the last episode was.
Think about the last episode of Dexter, and it was bad. It was very, very bad. I don't know how angry I was, because it was just like a shitty ending to a shitty season.
Yeah.
You know, I would have been like really pissed if it was like a great season and then that happened. But the Ronnie Cox episode was good.
Yeah.
The Ronnie Cox episode was really good.
He's good. He's just a good actor. He's been around for a long time, made a lot of movies, everything he's been in, even though the films might not have been great. I can think back to probably before you were born, Harper Valley PTA with him and Barbara Eden. I'm pretty sure he was in that with her.
Deliverance.
Oh my God. Boy, did I forget about that. But even Harper Valley PTA, as bad as a movie as it was, he's just good.
That's some classic Barbara Eden you're talking about.
It is.
Ronnie Cox is also like crazy fucking versatile, because look at him, like look at scenes in this, the progression that he has in this to actually trusting Axel Foley, and then by the end it's like they're, you know, buddies by the end of it, which makes sense even in the second one, how when he gets shot at the beginning, you know, it built up this, you could tell that these guys like have this mutual respect, and which would probably turn into a friendship by the end of this. So, but in the second one, you buy Axel Foley's going to go to Beverly Hills Cop to find out who shot this guy, and so he is this really, by the end of this, really warm, likable character. Like, yeah, he does stuff by the book because that's just how they do it over there.
Proper.
But he is also he's also a human being in this. Like, okay, like yeah, he figures out that. He believes Axel, that Victor Maitland's a crooked motherfucker. And
he was one of the three cops between him and Taggart Wood who knew what coffee was for.
Yeah,
know?
the coffee grinds. And so, and so, yeah, he wants to help him out, and he really does, but, you know.
His hands are kind of tied.
But with that being said, he is an incredibly versatile actor, because while, yeah, he's great in this, he is totally likable in this. Within the same few years, he's Dick Jones in RoboCop, you know?
Oh
Dick Jones in RoboCop, or 1990, Total Recall. As he can play an evil son of a bitch when he wants to. A great one, too.
I'm glad to, you know, even though Dexter's been over for a year, has it? Yeah.
Something like that. And yeah, he was a bad guy in that.
Yeah, I'm glad he's just still out there working.
Me too. That was, I mean, honestly, I feel bad. It took me a sec to realize it was him in that
Dexter?
episode. Yeah.
It was on the golf course, right?
He was the one he was a killer, or had been a killer like 30 years prior, and Dexter tracked him down or something like that.
He looks quite a bit different.
And you're right. He met him on the golf course, didn't he? Yeah, that's it. He does. He does look a bit different. It took me a second before before that, I don't know what the last thing was I saw him in.
I didn't think about it.
I think I went on IMDb, and it looked like he'd been working pretty steady for a while. Yeah,
I would. I'd have to look it up, but he's another one. The movie's full of just good stuff. I mean, Judge Reynolds, you know, Judge Reynolds did things before that, went on to do other things. And of course, Eddie, you know, he's pretty much, for the most part, always been working. But, you know, it's one of the reasons why I enjoy doing these movies with you so much, because, you know, we get to reminisce about from a time when you were little and I was...
I get to go watch this stuff again, too.
And sometimes for the first time with me.
In the theater?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And one guy that I really liked seeing in this, and he doesn't do that much... but the guy who was who was robbing the main guy who was robbing the strip club, who Eddie Murphy went up to him and was like, Phil!
Yes!
Was the bad guy in Sudden Impact. Wow. Was the main rapist in Sudden Impact. And that's another villain I would put up there as probably one of the best ones in the 80s. Like, he is underrated as fuck in that villain role in Sudden Impact. And this is a character actor who kind of just did minor stuff, because this was made after Sudden Impact, and he's this random robber in there who's good in his one scene.
The main guy at the Beverly Hills Hotel, or the Beverly Palm, or whatever they called it, the guy that said we seem to have had a cancellation.
Oh, yeah.
That actor has been in soaps or was in soaps for years.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, yeah, he was.
The
He,
girl,
mhm.
the girl who was looking up his room looked familiar,
She did.
but I don't know.
I want to go home and IMDb it and
Yeah.
just
The guy
Take
who
a
was the night watchman at the warehouse, who we asked for a match, was in. He was in Jack's Back. He was the guy. He was the guy who they thought was Jack the Ripper in Jack's Back. He was good in that movie. Yeah, it was fun to see it. They put Bronson Pinchot.
He's the best. Get the fuck out. Would you like an espresso with a lemon twist? That's the only time I've ever heard of an espresso with a twist. Well, that was the first time I'd heard of an espresso with a twist. But yeah, he was great.
That banter was great between the two, which I think was largely kind of
ad-libbed,
improvised.
Improvised, yeah.
You could see Eddie crack, in a couple of scenes, and I think the part two where where Jenny mimicked Eddie's laugh.
Oh,
I think is kind of done on the spot because his reaction to that.
It looked genuine. It did. It's like.
Yeah. That was funny.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Just one more thing I'll say about it too.
Sure.
It's like I thought it was unfortunate that she was never in any of the sequels.
Yeah, she was good and she was cute and there was good chemistry between the two of them. For sure. Do we have any more classic re-releases, or is this the last one?
It's the last one of this set. They haven't listed what the next ones are going to be. So I've been keeping my eye on it.
This is fun. I enjoy this. This is a lot of fun.
I hope they do some like horror movies and stuff since October is coming up.
Yeah, that would make sense. Maybe some Halloween type.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. Joe Friday the 13th 3D. Fuck yeah.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Of course. They'll be out of Let's Be Cops before too long, and I'm probably just going to lay in the back of a car for
sleep.
an hour. Probably. I'm so fucking tired.
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear what they have to say about that, because it looks like...
I am too, because, I mean, I thought it looked funny enough. It's not getting the best reviews.
That's not a shock.
We'll see. Yeah, they were really looking forward to that, so I'm curious to see what they have to say. So I'll be back.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say I'll be back tomorrow with Expendables 3 and The Giver.
Right on. Well, thanks again.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Of course. Bye.
All right.